United States, the construct of racism was created specifically to oppress black people, to try to suppress our determination to achieve liberation. Like Angela Davis said, it's built into the system.
Nowadays I can't believe what's going on in front of me. I don't want to watch TV and find another casualty. I don't want to read the news. My heart's already black and blue. I'm putting on my combat boots, cause I got an attitude. We're like soldiers forced to fight a war. What the hell? I can't take it anymore. Cause for so long we've been patient, now we're done. Don't you even ask me when did I become such an angry black woman.
I keep it real. What, dear? Because I keeps it real like that. I keeps it real.
As always, in the name of our ancestors, peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what I call the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I'm the host or gatekeeper of this program, known here on social media, wherever you may find me. I am known as the mighty Angel Snuff 7. I am your soul brother and hopefully your friend, Taalik Ibn'rad. Woo! I don't know if I can make this live stream. What's up there, twin? How you doing, sir? Thank you so much for joining me. Oh man. Now, as you know, and I do want to thank those who have donated to my medical fundraiser. I really appreciate your help in this dire time of need. I really appreciate it. Now, I'm going to try to do this short live stream. It's got to be short because, as you know, I have been suffering from medical problems, but this one is a little different. I ate some turkey soup And I was doing fine until I drank some orange juice. The combination of this orange juice and this turkey soup is not doing me very well. I mean, it started, when did it start? Around 10 o'clock earlier this morning, and it's still bothering me, but it's feeling a little better, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't even attempt to try to do this live stream. And but I want to do this live stream. And of course, as you know, when I scheduled the live stream, I felt all right. But we're gonna try to do this. Gonna try to fight through the stomach ache. We're gonna do this. Let me turn the camera on, I guess. All right. Okay, we're not going to be here long. I just want to make a point and roll out. When I was 17, 18 years old, I met a Jamaican lady, and she was very, very nice. I think I was 17 or 18, and she probably was 25, 24, 25, something like that. And we were just having conversation. And I told her that I did not like potatoes. I did not like beets. Now, I did eat potatoes only if they were McDonald's French fries or something like that. I did not like potatoes. And I did not like beets. And she told me, perhaps it's not the fact that you dislike potatoes and beets. Maybe you just don't like the way they are prepared. I said, no. I do not like potatoes. I do not like beets. This is what I told her. And she fired right back at me. No, maybe it's the way they are prepared. You have not had my potatoes. You have not had my beets. And I'm like, okay, let me make this perfectly clear, ma'am, lady, sister dear. I do not like potatoes. I do not like beets. So she told me and offered me a challenge. If I prepare the potatoes, if I prepare the beets, will you try the potatoes? Will you try the beets? Now I'm telling this lady, I don't care what you say you don't like. Will you try? Are you willing to try? There's an old Italian saying, I believe. Try it, you might like it. And I'm like, okay, all right, lady, just to quash your curiosity, we'll do this. Hey, how you doing for Black righteous folks? Okay, so she was a family friend from Jamaica. And she prepared the potatoes and she prepared the beets. And I prepared to throw up because I do not like potatoes. I do not like beets. I keep telling this lady that. She don't believe me. So everything is good. I like Jamaican food. I love Jamaican food. Hey, Jamaican food, all right. But now it's time for me to sample her potatoes and her beets. And I'm like, ugh. But I'm willing to try. Okay. I'm willing to try this stuff. Now, so I began to sample her beets and her potatoes. And I'm like, yuck. See, I'm biased and I'm prejudiced. I haven't even tasted what she prepared yet. I'm already biased and prejudiced. I already know it's going to taste horrible or whatever. So I began to eat the potatoes. And I'm like, this different. I said, this different. I wonder what the beets are like. Then I moved on to the beets. I'm like, interesting. And I'm like, it took me to a whole new place, because these are things that I said I did not like. And I'm eating potatoes, I'm eating these beets, and I'm actually enjoying. And even till this day, that was the early 80s. Even to this day, I love beets and I love potatoes. Wow. How do you know what you do or don't like until you really try it? I tried it her way. Maybe just like she said, the way somebody else done it, I did not like the way those potatoes and beets was prepared. But the way she done it, now I'm in love with potatoes and I love beets. Black Righteous say, I nibble and I hate Brussels sprouts. The point that I want to make real quick is, how do we know what we like and don't like unless we tried it? Now, prior to this, I had ate potatoes and beets in other types of ways. And that's why I came to the conclusion, I don't like potatoes. I don't like beets. But when she done it, and I gave her an opportunity and tried it, then I discovered I actually do like potatoes and beets. Why do I bring this up as an example? Now, it's also possible that I could have tasted her potatoes and beets and did not like it. Okay, so be it. But that's not the case. The case is, when I tasted her potatoes and beets, now I love potatoes and beets. Why am I bringing this to us? I'm bringing this to us because there are those who hate or dislike the Mississippi campaign, and they never even tried it. How do you know? How do you know what it tastes like when it's prepared by somebody else? How do you know? Oh, that ain't gonna work. That's a pipe dream. That's impossible. All kinds of, you never tried it. How do you know? And this is coming from people who's supposed to have high wisdom, supreme wisdom, understanding. But they think so lowly. Why do you think we drive cars? Why do you think there's electricity? Why do you think you have inside plumbing? Because somebody wanted to change things and others tried it and they said, hey, I like that. It's much better. I would rather have my toilet in the house than outside the house. I would rather, electricity is a beautiful thing. Having gas is a beautiful thing. Instead of riding a horse, I'd rather drive a car. It's all a beautiful thing. But there was always those, there were those who was against electricity. There was those who was against cars and trucks. There was those who was against airplanes. And there are still those who are against electricity and gas and this modern civilization, blah, blah, blah. You still have those people. But the majority of us, we live this so-called civilized lifestyle, and we have become very, very lazy. These things have made us very, very comfortable, and we loving it like McDonald's. We loving it. How do you know Pan-African? How do you know Nation of Islam? How do you know Black First? How do you know More Science Temple, Nation of Gods and Earth? How do you know Christian? How do you know what the Mississippi Campaign can do and you have not tried it? And you sound so stupid with all your high knowledge. You have not tried it and you say, I don't like that. You sound like a little child. I don't eat my vegetables. I don't like vegetables. When you have not even tried it. Maybe you didn't like the way it was prepared. But the first thing we got to do is open up our minds and give something a chance. How do you know? The only thing you know is you don't like Angel Snubbing Up 7. That's what the real problem is. It's coming from this platform. It did not come from the mouth of John Henry Clark or Dr. Ben or Dr. Claude Anderson and his Powernomics or the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan or Noble Joe Ali or the Honorable Marcus Garvey. It did not come from this platform. What do this black Negro know? You stupid. You stupid just like us. How can you? We're nothing but followers. We're nothing but people who regurgitate what Marcus Garvey say, what John Henry Clark say, Noble Joe Ali, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We just regurgitate, rehash, reshape, refry information. What make you different than us? And you're not giving none of our scholars any credit for nothing? I'm giving the credit to our people because our people, soul brothers and sisters, the ones called Negro, the descendants of slaves born in America, we as a people or a group they were the ones that done this, not me. And that's what we want to talk about. I know you don't like Angel Snubbing Up 7. You don't like that I think for myself. You don't like that I embrace my own uniqueness, my own originality. You don't like that. You want me to put on a costume like you. I'm a FOI. All praises due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Or a Hebrew Israelite, and you want to put on a fez and a purple suit and whatever you are, you want to be these other people. I don't want to be these other people. I want to just be who and what I am. And I can take from other sources, but I want to be me. I think there was an old song. I want to be me. No, that's the wrong lyrics. People be making up their own lyrics to songs. No, that old song was, it had to be you. It had to, that. I'm putting my own lyrics on a song. We do that all the time. But what's wrong with being you? What's wrong with being who we are? So look, first of all, you should be really, really ashamed. And it's very childish. It's very childish for you to talk about something and you haven't even tried it yet. Now, we have tried it your way for at least 100 years. Going back to Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, the Nation of Islam, at least 50 years, these Kemetic teachers and the Hebrew Israelites, and we done tried all these things. And you have had success trying to convert people to what you want them to be, and that's never going to work. The people are going to be who they are. They are not interested in what you want them to be. That's where you make a mistake. Let them be who and what they want to be. And let nature take its course. The Mississippi campaign was natural for a people. If you're talking about a nation within a nation, you're talking about a people who are trying to find themselves. And they were taking the tools that they were allowed, seeking political office, creating towns, creating their businesses. Had they been left alone in the South in 2020, we probably would be in control of 10 states, the whole South. So when you laugh and you giggle and you make mockery of the Mississippi campaign, you're not making mockery of me. You're making mockery of your own ancestors. But see, that's what I want to talk about. You're not making mockery of me. You can say F Mississippi campaign all that you want to. That do not bother me at all. You are telling your ancestors to kick rocks. When I call us soul brothers and sisters, and you want to belittle and make mockery of me, you're making mockery of your ancestors. You're not hurting me at all. Because I did not create the label soul brothers and sisters. It was already here when I was born. So you can't hurt my feelings. You are a liar. Talking about I love my ancestors. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. You love your dead ancestors and you have no respect for the living. Now, number one, had the federal government protected our people in the South in 2020, we probably would be in control of the South. It's a possibility. A few states. Number two, Angel Snuff number 7 did not create the label or the definition, soul brothers and sisters. This was coming from our loin. All these ghetto names that y'all laugh at, that's us as a people trying to find who we are, ourselves. I want to make this clear. Just because I'm a soul brother, number one, that don't mean I'm not an African. That don't mean I'm not a Native American or whatever these things that y'all talk about. Because clearly I'm not European. We know this. All I'm saying and all our people want is their own. I don't want to be an Arab. I don't want your holy book and be an Arab. I don't want that. I don't want to be a Christian and look up to the Pope. I don't want the Bible. I don't know where that come from. Well, brother, that's our people. I don't know where that come from, and I don't need it. I don't need it. This is what you don't understand. I'm my own man. I'm my own person. And if I gotta have God, I'll create my God, make my God myself, just like everybody else done. I pray to God to give me my own holy book. I pray to God to give me my own prophets. That's what I want. I want my own. I want to be unique. And so, ever since the end of slavery, that's what a free people supposed to do. And that's our people came from out of chattel slavery, could not read and write, don't know nothing about building no nation. They're just trying to survive. But the natural scheme of things, as they begin to get educated, as they begin to move forward, it naturally inclined, I want my own. This is myself, my uniqueness. When you say soul brothers and sisters, Africans cannot claim the label. Jamaicans can't claim the label. Nigerians can't claim the label. The Chinese can't claim the label. When you talk about soul brothers and sisters, there's only one person, only one people that's associated with that label. That's us. The descendants of slaves born in America, the once called Negro. It's us. And there's nothing wrong with that. Well, you see, it has to be connected to some ancient source. No, it does not. Where you think the ancient source came from? The ancient source started from nothing, from the bottom, just like you and I. And as time goes on, it became ancient. You establish yourself as our tribe, as our people, as our nation. And you become your own. You can take from these other sources and use it. But I want to be me. I don't want to be them. Because we look stupid trying to be somebody. We have no connection to that culture. We don't speak their language. I don't care if we did come from them. We're not them anymore. We are our own people now. And this is what you have to understand. But see, in order for us to be our own people, in order for us to move and groove like that, you have to have creativity. You have to have vision. You have to have imagination, and you don't have none. So you got to grab the coattails of somebody else who is established. You want to be a Michael Jackson impersonator. You want to be a Whitney Houston impersonator. You want to be a Sam Cooke impersonator instead of being your own artist. How far can a Michael Jackson impersonator go? Only so far. How far can a Whitney Houston impersonator go? Only so far. You can only go as far as that person you trying to copy. I don't want to be them. Look at their world. This is 2020. You want to be these people. Look at the world that they established. Look at their condition. What you want to be them for? They lost it. They need guidance. They are destroyed. And you and I, we are in a position, if we really learn the true knowledge of self and embrace ourselves, when we could be that torchlight. We could be that guidance for them. Not only them, but the whole world of humanity, and take us out or off this path of destruction and extinction to a far better place. In fact, to the place where you talk about heaven or the hereafter. You could do it. If you stop hating yourself. You keep calling me, he hates himself. No, you hate yourself. Because you want to be somebody you've never been. You're not those people. Look. So, soul brother and sister is not good enough for you. And the Mississippi campaign is not good enough for you. But these are what your ancestors done. You always talk about the ancestors that, like I told you, just because we say soul brothers and sisters don't mean that we're not African, we're not Native American, and all these other things. It's part of us. We know we're not European. So you are dissing, when you diss Angel Snubbing Up 7, you are dissing your ancestors who are alive right now. Maybe your mother and your father. I did not create soul brothers and sisters. I did not create our swag in this country. It already was here. Who and what we was. Now we're trying to copy these people and we're losing our soul. We have lost our soul. We used to be different. Now we trying to dress and want to be like some other suckers who ain't got nothing going on. They trying to be like us. Black Righteous says we are black Indians. No, we are soul brothers and sisters. We are not black Indians. That's a generic label that our people never used. We are black Indians only in DNA. We are not black Indians. We are soul brothers and sisters. That's the label that came from up out of the womb of this people in this country. And soul was accepted by the 40 million. I never heard nobody complain and talk about I'm not a soul brother, I'm not a soul sister. When you had soul in the 1960s, you had black power and you had soul power too. You got soul food, soul music, and all those things associated with it. Matter of fact, black power and soul power really was the same. The Afro was part of the soul identity. And the black power fits. All that, they went together. They was both one and the same. But they would rather you call yourself black so that you stay caught up in this race sickness. When you are soul brother and sister, has nothing to do with race. So I can look at you and you can be yellow, you can be dark as the night. It don't make no difference. We all from the same tribe. But when your mind is focused on race, talk about I'm a black Indian, I'm a blackity black, that comes from outer racism. That comes from outer racism. That's part of the race sickness. Of course I'm screaming. I'm always screaming when I say things people don't like. I'm always screaming. Other than that, it's preaching. We are so hypocritical. When all these suckers is saying things that you like, go brother, power to the people. But when people say things that you disagree and don't like, why are you screaming? Why are you talking so loud? We are not black Indian. You can be a black Indian. I have no problem. You are my black Indian brother or sister. But we as a people are not going to accept that. an identity that comes from up out our womb, where it spreads, the whole 40 million can accept it. Because you can be a soul brother and sister like we was in the 60s, and you can be Nation of Islam, you can be Moorish Science Temple, you can be Nation of Gods and Earth. Do you think when they got on the soul train and our people was dancing down, do you think they was caring about, are you a black Indian? Are you Nation of Islam? Is you a Christian? We dancing down the soul train. That's all they cared about. They didn't care about, are you light-skinned? Are you dark-skinned? A black Indian is not self. And see, this is another thing. Let me look at this comment here. We have that in us of this land. Africans want to force us to Africa. Africans is not trying to force us to Africa. I don't see no Africans running around here talking about come to Africa. The only time you really see that is these American black people pushing this agenda. You don't hear there's no leader in Africa. There's no nation in Africa except Ghana, because they learned that you can make money because we are naive and we're lost. They can make millions and millions of dollars off of us. Those countries in Africa are not interested. They're not trying to force you. No, you have people who want to be an African, and they can be that. But it's very fun. It's very funny that they're not making no real attempt to go to no Africa. They right here with us. And they would die here with us. Now, if you go to Africa now, they'll tell you to go to Africa, and you might go, and they'll still be here and die here. God cares, and isn't that what matters? God does not exist. I'm not interested. We don't do God here. God does not exist. You have to take your destiny in your own hands and use your brain to get yourself out of your situation. That's what your brain is for, to solve your problem. But when you're dependent on somebody else, you got to wait on them. So we wait on God, and God has not answered us yet. What answer has God gave us? Nothing. We waiting on Malcolm. We waiting on Marcus Garvey. We waiting on all these popular YouTubers to give us an answer, and they have not done nothing for us. Because you can't think for yourself. You don't know what to do. You need a slave master. You need a slave owner. You need somebody to guide you. Somebody that you can serve. That's a slave mindset. We don't do that here. We think for ourselves here. Mr. Fox, what's happening? Mr. Nub7 knows his roots and knows what he's talking about. At least he takes the time to think and examine of why the black race is suffering. Don't let them stop you, sir. Brain power. That's right. Everything except brain power. Black power, white power, flower power. But nobody is talking about brain power. Use your brain. Common sense. So, you have those who are shamed. Well, they're not shamed. They're arrogant. And they are arrogant. I said that. Arrogant type people. Know-it-alls. But as you can see, they don't have nothing going on. And they're hypocrites because on one hand, they talk about my ancestors, my ancestors. What about your ancestors? And whether I like it or not, I'm an African, according to you. I'm a Hebrew Israelite or whatever, according to you. But you just ignore what your ancestors have done. Some of them are alive right now that created soul power. Soul brothers and sisters, this label, this identity for us. They also, some of them are still alive who could have been in the South that would have took control of those states had they been left alone. Some of them, many of them are still alive. So you favor the dead over the living. You worshipers of the dead. Dead people you don't know. Many of these people, our ancestors, are alive right now. Maybe your mother, maybe your father, your grandmother. They was the one. I did not create soul brothers and sisters. I did not create that identity. I am building on what they created. What they done. Right here in America. Your mother, your father, grandmother, great-grandfather, what they done. So when you diss me, you diss your grandmother, great-grandfather, our people here, our people right here in America. And you're going to favor, oops, wrong button. Wrong button. So you're going to favor people from 1,000 years ago, 5,000, 100,000 years ago. You're going to talk about how much you love them and you honor them and you praise them. But you have your own mother, grandfather, great-grand people that you actually, some of you actually saw your great-great-grandfathers and things of this nature. And you diss them, diss what they was doing, because it ain't good enough. You ashamed of them. Some of you are ashamed of the civil rights movement. You ashamed unless it's some of this blackity black stuff. But basically, you still ashamed of yourself because you're filled with self-hatred. How can you love those you don't know nothing about? Long deceased, thousands of years ago, and you diss and you belittle the achievements of those right here in this country that you live in. I don't understand that. It don't make any sense. I give honor and respect to the living brothers and sisters. Even though through all the obstacles, through all the hatred, the ignorance, the illiteracy, all that they went through, they still put themselves on a path of their own originality, their own uniqueness. Here you are striving to be other people. They were, because see, they didn't have no knowledge of these other things. So they were simply being themselves. Simply being themselves. But now you got the information and you got the knowledge and you put on these costumes being something other than yourself. I don't want to be that. I don't want to do that. And the people, the masses of the people are not going to accept what you think they should be. They're not going to do that. That's why you get thousands of views, but you don't get millions of views. They're not interested. They just want to be who they are. They just want to try to live a peaceful life. That's all. They don't need no more slave masters. They don't need people telling them what to do and the laws and people threatening them. If you do this, you're going to go to hell. And people sick of bullies. And man, that's what many of these people are. They're bullies. You better do what I say. They're no different than the racist Caucasian people in leadership. They ain't no different. A bunch of bullies, slave owner mentality. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. So I had to block somebody, this black righteous person. They upset because I don't want to be a black Indian. Don't tell me I need to take some medicine. Well, I'll take my medicine and you go on about your business. You go be a black Indian. And put on some eagle feathers and look stupid because that's not what you are. Now, this is the sad thing about it, is that they want to be these people They don't eat their food. They don't practice their culture. They just like any other Negro in the street. If you ever see me claim to be a black Indian, I would be talking that language. I would be eating that food. I would be living that life. How you gonna tell me to be an African and you living the life of a Negro? You drink, many of these people, they drink, they smoke, they go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Anything a Negro do, they do. If you're gonna be that, if you want to claim that title, be that. But that's not you. That's just something that you talk about. Now, there are those, and I've seen them, they are trying to live that life. And it's very, very difficult, especially when you're living in the United States. It's also very difficult because most of your life, you never lived that way. Brother Phil says exactly. It's coming from these so-called childlike adults telling how to think, solve their ideology, how to think and solve, and their ideology never works. The repetitive cycle repeats itself over and over and over again. Same stuff. If you want to change, we got to change. You want a righteous lifestyle, you want heaven, and you want the hereafter, but you still want to be a hellraiser. It don't work that way. We cannot even begin to take control of the state of Mississippi with the mindset of a Negro that we have. We have to change ourselves. We must become somebody different. We must be like the caterpillar that form a cocoon and come out like a butterfly. We must be different. That you can't even tell that's what we was before. If you didn't know any better, you would never know that a butterfly and a caterpillar was the same animal. You would never know. And in ancient cultures, you know, that was really magical. They made a big deal about that because they didn't see the caterpillar change into the butterfly. So they made a big, you know, magic fairy tale thing out of it. But we cannot stay the way that we are. And we must draw from the energy of those who are alive. You're not going to get no energy from those who are deceased. They're gone. But your great-grandfather's still here, grandma's still here, and other brothers and sisters who was moving us into our uniqueness, our originality, they are still here, and you vibe off that energy and make it part of yourself. You're not going to get nothing from a dead person. That's why it's called dead. When something is dead, there's no life. So you go and be a black Indian, whatever that is. I don't know what a black Indian is. And that's fine. I'm not mad at you. But that's not what I am. That's not who we are. It's not going to be acceptable. You have to find something that the 40 million can identify with. They don't want your religion. They don't want these ideologies. They just want to be themselves. And then as time goes on, you give people a little bit of this and give them a little bit of that. And you don't know where they might end up at. But that's not for me to judge. That's not for you to judge with your selfish ass. We are in a position to put them on a path so they can be liberated from an oppressor, because if you're not liberated, if you're not truly free, none of it don't mean nothing at all anyway. You are black power, black first slave, a Nation of Islam slave, a Kemetic slave, and the list goes on and on. Because you're not liberated don't mean nothing anyway. You living in the house of your enemy. So what? So what? It don't make no difference what you call yourself. Because the bottom line is, whatever the slave master call you, that's what you're going to be. Like it or not. That's the reality of it. But such hypocrites, how are you going to be in love with people you don't know nothing about, you didn't even exist thousands and hundreds of years ago, and then you belittle and make mockery of your ancestors living, many of them who are still alive, living today? It makes no sense. And you're never going to get nowhere until you are able to vibe off that energy so that you can move forward. You can't get no energy from something that is dead. So on that note, thank you for joining me for these few minutes. And actually, I feel better. I always feel better once I get into these talks. Unfortunately, I had to block somebody, and it was not because it was something they were saying I didn't like. I mean, if you want to be a black Indian, so be it. But when they start trying to make mockery, you need to take your medicine, that's the time to go. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. Why do you find it necessary to tell me, because I don't want to call myself a black Indian, why do you find it necessary? Oh, look at your shirt. You don't have no hair on your head. Take your medicine. Blah, blah. What does that have to do with anything? Because you mad. See, childish people. And you don't deserve liberation. You don't deserve to be free. So keep doing what y'all doing. Because the Mississippi campaign is for those who truly want to be liberated. Those who truly want to be free. Those who want to play a game, keep playing your game. It's fine with me. We don't do that here. We are striving to elevate and progress forward. We have imagination. We have creativity. We are original. We are unique. We are lovers of ourselves. I have no need, I have no use to try to be somebody else. So on that note, thank you, Twin, Brother Phil, those in the chat room. I appreciate, again, those who are listening to this broadcast. And I'm still banned on Facebook, but we'll be on Facebook again pretty soon. And again, I thank you for donating to my medical fund. We thank you for supporting Sister Noble's book, God is on Trial. And of course, I'm looking forward, and I hope that many of you who participate in the chat room, I would hope that you would come and join us live, Soul Liberation Day 2021, December the 7th, 2020 at 4:30. The topic is taking our destiny in our own hands. And I got my notes and things ready and moving things around. I hope that we can come together and have a good time that Monday, December the 7th, 2020 at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. That would be 5:30. Yeah, 5:30 Eastern Time. East Coast is one hour ahead. Yeah. So on that note, thank you, brothers and sisters. And I appreciate it. Jot down your comments. They say hit the like, button, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. But you know me, I don't even trip off stuff like that. I'm very happy with my 10 subscribers and my 0 likes. I'm very happy. Maybe I should become a black Indian. I'm out of here, y'all. And as our beautiful ancestor, may he rest in peace, Don Cornelius taught us, and he always said, as in pardon, I wish us love, peace, and soul. Woo, we outie 5,000, y'all.